Hey everyone! So today's video is going to be my top 24 players of the past decade, the 2010s. So the decade's almost finished, and we're all doing these videos about the best this and the best that of the decade. So this is my version of for me, the top 24. The reason 24 is because that's basically a full roster for a hockey team, so I thought I'd do 24. What we're going to do is we're going to have goalies, defense, and the forwards separated. So I'm going to start with goalies, and we're going to start right now. So hang on to your seats because first up is Braden Holtby. So at number 24 is Braden Holtby of the Washington Capitals. Holtby had 165 wins, a .927 save percentage, and 21 shutouts in between the years of 2014-15 and 2017-18. He is a Vezina Trophy winner. I'm trying to read my script here. 2016. In 2016, he won the Vezina. He was a finalist in 2017, and he won the Stanley Cup in 2018. A nice 3-year run, that's for damn sure. Braden Holtby, a really good goalie. Number 24. Number 23 for the goalies, Jonathan Quick of the LA Kings. He on a bit of a downslide for the last few years, partly due to injuries and partly due probably just to age and losing his. It happens anyway. Jonathan Quick had 296 wins, and that's fourth in the league for the decade. Conn Smythe winner in 2012, two-time Stanley Cup winner 2012 and 2014. A 0.293 goals saved above average per 60 minutes for seventh in the league. A .922 even strength save percentage for 24th in the league. He's a two-time Jennings Trophy winner and a two-time Vezina finalist. Jonathan Quick, number 23. Number 22, the old man. Whoop, I don't know what I'm writing there. That's bad writing. Henrik Lundqvist. I think it's actually a V, not a U, but it's Henrik Lundqvist. Now, he has a 0.408 goals saved above average per 60 minutes, and that's tied for first for the decade. And considering how many games he's played, which is way more than the guys tied with him and everybody else, that's pretty good for the longevity and to keep that quality. He has given up, or no, listen, 242.1 goals saved above average, and that's 75 more than the guy that's right behind him. That's quite good. He's got a .927 even strength save percentage for second in the league. He has won 314 games, third in the league. He has won the Vezina Trophy surprisingly only once in 2012, and he is a two-time finalist. So that's Henrik Lundqvist. Definitely should be on this list. And you might say he should be a little higher, but that's where I put him. And to close out the goalies in number 21 position, although like I said, he's my favorite goalie. That is Carey Price. Yeah, I know people are going to say, "Oh, you're a Habs fan. It's because of that you got Price up there." Look, you can put them in any order; it doesn't really matter to me. But I think Price should be up there. Here's why. He won the Hart Trophy, the Jennings Trophy, the Vezina Trophy, the Pearson Trophy, which is for the NHL PA's Player of the Year, all in 2014-15. He led the league in wins, save percentage, and goals against average, and had a 36.70 goals saved above average. Habs all-time wins leader. Best goalie 2014 Olympics. First team All-Star 2015. My favorite goalie, Carey Price, in at position number 21. We're moving on to the defense now. Moving on. Defense. Number 20, PK Subban. Let's see now. Subban, 413 points for 14th amongst defensemen. Norris Trophy winner in 2013 and a three-time finalist. That's PK Subban of Montreal, Nashville, and New Jersey. PK Subban, when he was in Montreal, was my favorite Hab. Very exciting on the ice. Took a lot of chances, paid the price sometimes, and was successful many times. PK Subban deserved to be on this list in number 20. In number 19, from the LA Kings, that's Drew Doughty. Drew Doughty, let's see, 26.31, 26 minutes, 31 seconds, time on ice per game overall in the decade. Second in NHL for the decade. 462 points in 806 games played. That's fifth for defensemen. Norris Trophy winner in 2016 and a four-time finalist. He's on a bit of a downswing, or you could say the LA Kings are pretty bad right now, so he's not one of the top defensemen right now, but Drew Doughty definitely was one of the top defensemen of the decade. In number 18, San Jose Sharks, Erik Carlsson. Some would probably say Carlsson should be the top defenseman on this list, and you might be right, but it's my list. He's scored 588 points, which is first for the decade. 569 takeaways, first for the decade. And I imagine that's amongst defensemen, but it didn't say that when I was researching. 0.82 points per game, ninth all-time for defensemen. That's ninth all-time for defensemen. I think all-time means like forever. I don't think that's just a decade. Two-time Norris winner and a four-time finalist. Erik Carlsson, he gets criticized a lot for his lack of playing good defense, but he makes up for it with the offense and the way he can run a power play and just the way he leads the team. Erik Carlsson, really great player. I would have liked him to sign in Montreal, but definitely not for anything close to the money he's being paid by San Jose. Number 17, his teammate, Brent Burns. With that big, crazy beard. Okay, so Brent Burns, 2,445 shots in 752 games played. That's number one for defensemen. 168 goals, first for defensemen. I think he's tied for first on there. I wrote first, but I think he's tied for first. 553 points, second for defensemen. Norris Trophy in 2017, and top three in the Norris voting 3 other times. Brent Burns, an awesome defenseman. I think he's good on the defensive side too. I don't know a ton. He's in San Jose. I will be learning more about the rest of the NHL as I go along with my NHL videos. But Brent Burns, number 17. Number 16, Duncan Keith of the Chicago Blackhawks. Duncan Keith, 455 points in 755 games played. That's fourth. And I think that's for everybody, but I could be wrong. Could be just defensemen. Two-time Norris Trophy winner. Conn Smythe winner in 2015, where he had 21 points in 23 playoff games. And he also had a 64.29 goals for percentage and he had 31 minutes and 7 seconds time on ice average. And I believe that was in the 2015 playoffs. So Duncan Keith, a great defenseman on his downswing right now, but he was a great defenseman. Is a great defenseman, but like I said, was because he's not at his best right now. Number 15. Love it when there's Habs. Our captain, Shea Weber. Shea Weber. And the last defenseman, so sorry if I have a little bit of bias to the Habs and I put them at the top of each list, but there are no other Habs on the list. 0.61 points per game, 13th among defensemen. 9th in goals above average among defensemen with 100. Norris Trophy finalist 3 times with Nashville, never won. 100 plus power play goals. A rocket of a slap shot that has reached over 100 miles per hour in the, I believe in the skills contest and the All-Star game festivities. So Shea Weber, I think, deserved of being on this list. I have him at number 15. The last defenseman on the list. We move on to the forwards. At number 14 is Artemi Panarin. Played in Chicago. for the Blue Jackets up till last year, and he's now with the Rangers. He was a Calder Trophy winner in 2015. That's for Rookie of the Year. 1.02 points per game, 10th. A puck wizard and a possession driver for the team. I was getting a lot of this from a couple of sites, and I didn't want to look all over the place. Sorry for the lack of good stats on him, but he does. He's a wizard with the puck, and he's a possession driver, which means he carries the puck a lot. He's setting up plays, a good playmaker. Artemi Panarin, number 14 on the list. Switch papers now. Number 13 is from Tampa Bay, Nikita Kucherov. Now, Kucherov, how are we for time? Not bad. Kucherov, 1.04 points per game for 6th. Hart Trophy winner 2018-19. Scoring champion 2018-19. Second in the NHL in points and goals the last 3 seasons. Definitely deserving of that. He was really close to 100 points. Maybe he'll hit it this year. I don't know. I didn't check to see how he was doing this year. Before I started filming. Number 12. Oh, got to change boards. So number 12 is for Colorado Avalanche, Nathan MacKinnon. Nathan MacKinnon he was a Calder Trophy winner in 2013-14. Third in power play goals since 2017. Second in Hart Trophy voting 2017-18. He had 99 points last year, 2018-19. I fully expect him to pass that this year. Nathan MacKinnon, great hockey player, great goal scorer. Took him a few years to get his footing to be a top player, but he's put up a lot of points and all that garbage and all that stuff, and deservedly number 12. In my opinion. Number 11. Stanley Cup winner last year, Ryan O'Reilly. I kind of expect to take some grief on this one. I don't know why I don't think people think he's deserved to be there. He has played with Colorado, Buffalo, and he's now in St. Louis. He's 527 points in 766 games played. One of the best defensive players of the decade. Stanley Cup winner last year. Conn Smythe winner last year. Frank Selke Trophy winner last year. Ryan O'Reilly, kind of the prototypical power forward right now, and deserving. Got the numbers and all that stuff. Stanley Cup champion and deserving of number 11 on this list. Number 10, a bit of an oldie, but he played up until 2016, and that is, I'm gonna run out of room here to write these. Pavel Datsyuk. Now, Datsyuk was a hell of a hockey player, gotta tell you. 0.93 points per game in 427 games played. That's 14th, and that's just in this last decade. And remember, he played most of his good hockey in the other decade, in the 2000 to 2009. So that's saying a lot, and that's why he's on the list, because his numbers when he played in this decade were fantastic. He was a magician with the stick and the puck. Datsyuk definitely deserves to be here. By the way, he played for Detroit, if you don't know. One Selke win and a finalist the next 3 years after that. Best goals above average per 60 minutes, 0.901. That's pretty damn good. Second in wins above average per 60 minutes, 0.166. I'm not sure what that means. Honestly, that stat, what are the wins? I don't know if second in wins is not a goalie. But that's a stat. Datsyuk just deserves to be here. He was a really great player. Hard to get the puck off him. And, just deserves to be number 10. At number 9, from Tampa Bay, another Tampa Bay player. I'm sure you can figure it out if I can remember how to spell his name, which is dumb. Steven Stamkos. Steven Stamkos, another great player out there in Tampa Bay, I got to tell you. Second best goal scorer of the decade. 383 goals in 695 games played. 1.22 goals per game. First for the decade. 1.08 points per game. Second, 2 goal scoring titles, and scored 60 goals in 2011, 2012. Stamkos definitely deserves to be on the list. If I didn't have him on the list, I'd get hell, I'm sure. At number 8, a Boston Bruin. Imagine I putting up a Boston Bruin. Yeah, this is the one Boston Bruin, got to say, I've got great respect for. And that's Patrice Bergeron. This is a good hockey player. This is a good two-way hockey player. Patrice Bergeron, 4-time Selke Trophy winner. And no worse than 5th in the voting 6 other times. Think of that. That's 10 times. That means he was at least 5th for 10 years in a row, and he won 4 times. That's amazing. A great two-way hockey player. Best two-way center of the 2010s. 58.5% face-off percentage, first for the decade. 0.82 points per game. The guy's a great defensive player and really good offensive player. So definitely deserves to be there. And like I said, the one Boston Bruin that I definitely respect. At number 7, moving on up, number 7, from Chicago, Jonathan Toews. Now, Patrick Kane was listed higher in the list, but I personally don't like Patrick Kane. It's not because he's a bad hockey player. It's his off-ice things that he does. I don't like him as a person. And so I put Jonathan Toews here, who I have a lot of respect for, along the lines of Patrice Bergeron. Great leader, great player, no scandals, nothing like that from him. Just a great guy, he seems like. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. 656 points in 761 games played. 14th in the league. 167 goals. 5th. 57.3% in face-off wins for 2nd. Selke Trophy winner and 3-time in 2nd place. Conn Smythe winner in 2010. 0.87 points per game in the playoffs. That's a guy who lifts his game in the playoffs. Jonathan Toews, a great leader and a great hockey player, and deserves to be there. Next up in number 6. How do you spell his name again? Not a hard name to spell. Evgeni Malkin. Evgeni Malkin, let's see what we got for him. Obviously in Pittsburgh, we all should know that. He has a 1.15 points per game for 3rd in the league for the decade. 284 goals, 9th in the league. 2 Stanley Cup wins in the decade. 28 points in 25 games on the 2nd Stanley Cup run. I don't think he won the Conn Smythe, but he scored 28 points in 25 games in the Stanley Cup Finals. That's awesome. So Evgeni Malkin definitely deserves to be there in number 6. Number 5, and I have a feeling for some reason I'm going to get flagged over this one, but Leon Draisaitl. Hope I spell it right. Leon Draisaitl from Edmonton. 1.11 point per game since 2016. 50 goal scorer last year, and I think this year too. Great at both center and wing. Heading for his 2nd 100-point season. Almost as dangerous as McDavid. So definitely deserve to be here. Draisaitl, he was listed a little higher up than I would have thought on that list, but I want him here because I think he's going to be a great player, and he's already proven to be in the latter part of the decade. Deserves to be there. Number 5. Number 4, next up, number 4, who I was also surprised was a little high up on this list that I was looking at, and I think he should be here, and that's Jack Eichel of Buffalo. Jack Eichel of the Buffalo Sabres, 0.96 points per game in 319 games played. He walks through teams almost single-handedly. I haven't seen a lot of this guy play, but what I have seen, I think he's amazing, and he's having an amazing season until he got injured. I don't know if he's still injured or not. He's just having an amazing season. Jack Eichel, number 4, and interesting enough, he was 2nd pick behind the next guy, and that is Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid, who I'm probably going to get hell for having him in 3rd spot. But remember, it's for the decade. He didn't play in the whole decade. Connor McDavid, 1.33 points per game in 323 games played. 2 scoring titles in first 4 seasons of his career. Hart Trophy and a second, third place finish. Blows by defensemen like they're standing still. Amazing with the puck on his stick, does things others can't, and he does them at full velocity. And that is the reason why I think Bobby Orr was the best hockey player ever to play the game. He did everything well. He did it, and he could do everything at full velocity, just like McDavid, like they just said there. So, Connor McDavid, number 3. Number 2, and here's the controversy that these two guys have gone on for a long time. I'm going to put them in together. Alex Ovechkin at number 2. And Sidney Crosby at number 1. And you could say, he's picking Crosby. He's not very imaginative. But you know what? Crosby deserves the number 1. And Ovechkin deserves number 2. I think Crosby's the better player overall than Ovechkin. I've always thought that. I've never been a huge Alex Ovechkin fan, but he deserves to be a number 2. So obviously from the Washington Capitals, 460 goals in 794 games, 177 power play goals, which I think that leads the league. I'm not positive. 1.04 points per game, 6 goal scoring titles, Hart Trophy winner, NHL Player of the Year once, 1 Stanley Cup, Conn Smythe Trophy when he won the Stanley Cup, 3,240 shots on goal. Amazing numbers, amazing stats. He's got a shot to tie Wayne Gretzky for points. I don't know, for goals. I don't know if he's going to make it or not. But Alex Ovechkin, definitely one of the best players to play the game, and definitely deserves number 2 for the decade. At number 1 is Sidney Crosby. Sid the Kid from Pittsburgh Penguins, of course. Hopefully one day be a Montreal Canadian for the last year of his career, I hope. Back-to-back Stanley Cups. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Back-to-back Stanley Cups and Conn Smythe trophies. 3rd player ever to do that. So imagine when they won the 2 Stanley Cups in the 2010s back-to-back. He won the Conn Smythe both times. Imagine only the 3rd player ever to do that. 836 points in 670 games played in the decade. 1 scoring title. 2 goal scoring titles. Hart Trophy winner, surprisingly only once. 2 NHL Player of the Year awards, which I think from earlier it's called the Pearson. What else can you say about Sidney Crosby? He epitomizes what hockey players should be. Really does. He was a whiner when he was a younger guy. He's gotten away from that. He's just a great hockey player. He does everything. He does everything at his best, always tries his best, gives second effort all the time. Just a wonderful hockey player to watch. Love Sidney Crosby. Deserves to be number 1. So there's my list. If you like it, please give a thumbs up. While you're on your way down there to give a thumbs up, you can subscribe and ring the notifications bell. That will get you my videos on a almost daily basis from Talking Habs, who is just starting out doing some NHL stuff. So please look for that. And I hope you like the video. And what else do I want to say? I usually say go Habs go at the end of this, but since it's the NHL, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to thank you all for watching. If you stayed this long into a 23-minute video, I really do thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the holidays. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye, y'all.